So I guess we should start. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Decarb December. So Decarb December is a learning series on thought to action in decarbonization. This is being hosted by the Decarbonization Business Charter. So DBC was conceived to establish a unified platform that brings together key stakeholders, fostering collaboration for the decarbonization of the building and construction sector. This initiative is collaborative effort between WRI India, which is World Resources Institute India, Alliance for an Energy Efficient Economy, AEEE, Mahindra Life Spaces Developers Limited, and EcoCollab. The initiative aims to address shared challenges and opportunities and provides a framework to identify and prioritize critical actions, steering the efforts towards the common goal of reducing carbon emissions in the sector. So through this series, we'll have the privilege of attending engaging workshops led by some of the most foremost experts in the field. The webinar sessions are designed to provide practical insights and strategies for decarbonizing our building sector, and they pave the way for a more sustainable future. So for our today, we'll be joined by Mr. Sriram Kuchimanchi, the founder and CEO of Smarter Dharma. So Mr. Sriram, an Asoka Fellow and a dedicated entrepreneur in sustainability, specializes in the intersection of technology and sustainable practices. As the architect of SD Plus, India's pioneering sustainability resource planning platform, he passionately advocates for sustainability adoption. Recognized as an Autodesk Social Fellow, he has been honored for his innovative approach in addressing climate change within the built environment, and he engages with leaders demystifying sustainability through empathy. So today, Mr. Sriram will be speaking on the topic called An Approach Towards Net Zero. So without any further ado, I would like to pass the mic to Mr. Sriram. So you can continue.
Hi. Hey, thanks for the invite and also thanks for the introduction. It was nice. Um, Sorry, I'll speak a little slow since today morning I've been down with a bad throat and cold. I'll speak a little slow. I'll try to cover as much as I really wanted to. What I was thinking is I was asking for the who all are there. From what I hear, there are architects and consultants in this space. What I want to do today is really talk about if there is this myth that adoption of sustainability is still difficult. Vast majority of the country, we are based in Bangalore. Vast majority of the country still thinks that it's still a pie in the sky. It's a CSR idea. So my simple differentiation uh, between CSR and ESG works really well with the building industry because, as you all know, CSR is social responsibility, which if I do so much work, uh, other than what all I do in my business, I could go and plant some trees. I could go and paint a school. I could go and set up a food drive, clothes collection drive, etc. This is CSR, meaning sustain activity which are socially conscious are not core to the business. These are add-on things we do. Whereas ESG, when it comes, ESG is saying your core business has to adopt sustainability and environmental governance. That is a that's a paradigm shift, and we always tell people that is what you should look at. I mean, non-construction businesses we work with also, but real estate industry, we tell them that this is how you should. And so the maturity of a real estate developer in terms of our understanding sustainability, a great way is to see if on their website they have CSR and then they say planting trees. Right. So this is the difference in how we should approach sustainability in the built environment, and we'll talk a little about that, right? Um, and so vast majority of the country still doesn't, and we all as practitioners here, architects, MEP consultants, green consultants, we need to figure out how do we for a lack of better word, demystify how adoption of systemicity can happen, um, and what are the various approaches possible. What I'd like to also talk last few minutes is also as a couple of examples of how our own clients have seen bottom line and top line value from sustainability. So we'll talk about those as well. I will try to go fairly quick so that we can have time for Q&A. I think that will be more effective, given that's also slightly smaller audience and the power of what AEEE, WRI, through this decarbonization charter, we're trying to do is we are trying to see how can we make it a normal. New normal is building sustainably. So none of us claim to be experts in this, but it's important to dialogue and discuss and figure out how to do. Hope that works. Normally, I'm not a big fan of these. I like to have see everybody's faces, understand what they're saying, but we'll go with it. All right, let me share my screen right now. Satakshi, I think you need to give me share capability. Hello?
Just 1 second. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe a thumbs up here would do. How many of you can are actually real estate developers? Can we see a thumbs up or a raise of hand while we're waiting for team setup? Okay, so nobody's a real estate developer. I don't see anybody's thumbs up, right? No. Okay. How many of you are architects? If you're muted, thumbs up. This would help on your on like where is this reaction? Yes, we could actually do this if you're an architect. Uh, and uh, and practitioners as in MEP and green consultants. Okay, I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
share capability.
Sriram, can you just check if you can present now?
Yeah, I think I can. Okay. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, super. So yes. Yeah, so let's dive right into it. Um, we keep thinking of future, right? We keep thinking of what kind of future we'll have. Climate change is a future problem. We need to solve it. We need to really get into making the world a better place for the kids for the future. But this is today in India. This is how we are when this image has multiple issues. In fact, one of the things I learned when I was at the AEEE thing also recently, when the gentleman from Carrier also explained the flaw in this. So, but yet we have multiple issues with this. With respect to water, we are like this. In fact, I'm sure every one of us have heard enough times that water is going to be the cause for third world war, right? We've heard it enough number of times. Yet this is what's happening. I don't know if any of you have read today morning's COP28 update. Um, we are at a point where we're trying to fight, saying, should we say fossil fuel should be phased out or phased down, right? So, and then the amount of money reparations. There are so many nuances to talk, and rightfully or wrongfully, uh, there are a lot of these players who have to they have to discuss and come up with it. But in a strange way, what we are doing, all of us working in the real estate industry, are almost impervious to what's happening at COP, and that's something we need to figure out how to do. This is where I studied a couple of years ago, I think. High stress for how India is going to face a severe water problem. But this is what the developers are building. Actually, this is something I used with Credit developers recently, and then I showed this. I said, "What are you building? What are we actually building for India?" And this is a problem of its own, especially architects and practitioners. We need to realize technically there should not be any difference between the high rise there and a slum house below with respect to the quality of life. But what we do is we just throw in cheap and unsustainable and unlivable material as opposed to building it the right way. So this is how India is growing today. And just to reiterate, we all know this is the impact of infrastructure industry. One of the reasons Matadama even got into this space is we were working on urban sustainability, but we identified that buildings have a huge impact, and not just they have a huge impact, but unlike other industries, buildings have the highest mitigation capability for the least capital. On an average, a building lives for 53 years. So if you design it well, you can actually reap the benefits of it for 53 years. That is essentially the idea, right? So let's jump into it. How do people look at adopting sustainability? They are either setting goals. Now I'm moving into the ESG model, right? CSR doesn't even happen, and I'm actually going forward to say that builders, whether they like it or not, they're beginning to answer the question as to why they should adopt sustainability. They found reasons. It's either the market is driving it, it's because the customers are asking. It seems like a CSR, but they need to showcase and they see USP and value. Government is mandating. All these kind of reasons are driving them. So now let's look at the how, right? They either now are coming with corporate vision. Some of our clients in Bombay and Bangalore, they are coming and asking for this bold vision of net zero. As you know, all the top builders today have already started setting up, right? Mahindra said 2030 there'll be scope 1, scope 2, 2040 there'll be scope 3. Godrej has given net zero goals. Brigade has given net zero goals. The top 23 builders in the country who are publicly traded, they're mandated to publish. So they all anyway have it. But beyond that, even the smaller builders, we work with a bunch of mid-sized builders, they've all also published. So one approach to sustainability turned out to be let's set up net zero goals, right? Corporate vision and goals. The other one is certification. It's a no-brainer. Everybody thinks it makes sense. Everybody feels like it's an easy sell, it's easy adoption. Uh, I'm sure some of us on the call today are IGBC lead Griha practitioners. So that's another approach. The third I like is what I like to mention is a la carte model. Why? Because very mature players have now come to us and said, we have these net zero goals. We have what we need to do. We just don't have an access to a way to see measured, um, tangible values also from which material, which solution will have what kind of value, right? Is there a cost benefit analysis approach for individual solutions? Why I said I like is I like the fact that they're mature, but I dislike it because it doesn't come with goals. So I think all three have value. All three have their own plus and minus. So let's see how we understand. In our years of working with about close to now 12.8, 13 million square feet, we see that all three have worked. So let's look at the definition of net zero, right? Now, this is the most popular Western definition of net zero. Why? Because we're thinking of energy, energy, energy. But truth is, a country like India, we can't just be energy. So we call our definition of net zero now is spreading beyond, right? We are saying it has to be energy, it has to be water, it has to be waste, and derive, showcase carbon, right? So what we then, this is actually a particular client, one of our big clients who have done a project like this is we've decided that operational carbon, by the way, I'm assuming everybody here understands embodied operational. I'm happy to get a little more detail. You can message or chat and I can open those slides and talk. But assuming embodied operation is understood, what we've noticed is energy, water, waste, we're able to do the operational carbon reduction, right? So we've showcased this value. We tangibilize sustainability, tangible net zero goals, we said. And then we talk about offset. How do you offset from here, right? So for a good, this was 7 towers. I think it is about 500 odd apartments, 7 or 8 towers. Uh, without going through everything, this is what we have seen. We have actually shown, we've spoken to them. My team actually has a nice one after the other animation to show, but I'll quickly talk about it, right? Carbon, embodied carbon, cost of mitigating embodied carbon will reduce if upfront we are able to figure out how to do it, right? So what we have actually noticed is upfront, if you're able to make innovative ideas, innovative solutions, you're able to pick up. Some of these are here. We have actually seen that for like, at -9, you're saving some money. You can actually reduce your embodied carbon by nearly 37%. And then we saw that during operation, we've seen about 31% reduction, right, through various innovation like envelope optimization. Heat pump became a massive solution which we've been regularly, and in heat pump there are a lot of solutions, right? Keep that for later. Of course, solar. Then when it comes to water efficient fixtures and how we reuse water, all these solutions together. Today, we are telling them that let's set a net zero goal. Our approach is first set a goal, and our algorithm will come and tell you that you can be 33%, 37%, 70% water. So we put all this and then we tell them what is the cost for all that. What I've noticed, and I wish there was a builder here who would have said yes, is what I've noticed increasingly any time I talk to builders, I ask them, do you have a problem spending that 100, 150, 200 bucks? Nobody has a problem spending that. 100% of them, their challenge is, I don't know what will come out of it. They are still thinking that, like I told you, CSR versus ESG, they think that this money I have no value. It's a CSR value. But we showcase that if you spend this money, there is bottom line value, meaning savings created, efficiency created for the buyer from you. And so you can sell it at better and there's a top line. So we'll get to again details. So how do we do it in terms of water? We take a structured approach. We say very important. We speak a lot about demand reduction. We say you, and this will seem logical for a lot of us, right? But we've noticed when we actually talk to my team, I mean, talk to our clients, a lot of them don't take a full-fledged approach like this. They are directly jumping in and saying, okay, tell me a good water treatment plant, without saying that from 135 LPCD water, which it goes to about 165, 170, they can actually bring it down to 110 LPCD. In fact, and I will jump around a little, so don't mind me. This this project of ours, this one actually won an award. This is the award it won. Um, um, this project, we could actually showcase 6 rupees savings because we worked on water savings at a with efficient fixtures. So we brought it down 197 liters, and with bulk we made 110 liters. So actually, the size of tanks, etc., the whole structures reduced. So they save money there, and embodied carbon reduced. So we did a lot of work at that level in this project. This is one a lot of kudos and all, and this builder speaks highly about the idea of adopting sustainability. So taking a demand reduction based and then maximizing rainwater. If you see 90% of the country today, when they say they're working on rainwater harvesting, they put it into the ground. But actually, as you all know, rainwater is the purest form of water. Reuse that water is going to be a make it potable water, right? It's going to be a massive value. You can reduce the demand on your freshwater uh, on the city. Then today we have, and again, that project which I showed you, Coival Northern Star, we have a video of the manager of the RWA drinking post-treated grey water. We made the grey water potable, and because of that we made them, they barely buy tankers. They buy like I think 88% of their water self-sufficiency is there. Why? Because uh, gray and black can be split, gray can be made potable, black can be used for other stuff, and so your demand requirement reduces. So we did like that. Energy, what we've noticed is, and again, practitioners here, which is nice, most of the time envelope is not looked at in residential sector. I'm talking a little residential. Commercial, yes, they look at it. I don't think commercial anybody here will argue. But residential being the fastest growing, we really let's focus on residential, right? Envelope optimization, I just don't understand why. So some of the certifications now are beginning to demand that. So there's a hope that something will get better. But otherwise, energy work based on that, and then efficient systems. and doing a basic energy management and finally moving to renewables, right? That approach, as opposed to what do typically real estate developers do? They don't look at the first three, they directly go and say, let's get solar, and then solar turns out to be very expensive. They do bare minimal without any value because A, they have not set goal, and B, they have not taken a structured approach. We've done the same with waste. In fact, I'm sure you have numbers, you all know these, that C&D waste in the country today is one of the biggest problem, right? We generate close to 600 million tons of C&D waste each year. So during construction itself, there is a huge work of managing waste. And then of course, post occupancy, how do we handle? So there are various solutions. What we have noticed is this. In fact, this is um, we've seen enough, we've done enough work to see that this is possible, right? We're seeing that um, basic to meet all government mandates with a little increase on efficiency. 70s, I am being more conservative. Actually, it goes down further. Depending on size, we have seen even at 41 rupees and all that. But uh, there you can actually see a true net zero going all the way at in the range of 180 rupees to 200 rupees. But if you start considering this way and this kind of an approach, that is when we can really move the needle to adopting sustainability. uh, and, Again, I can actually, I'm not able to gauge if you have any questions, so I'll move ahead quickly and then we'll stop and get into questions. Certification, I won't talk much. I think everybody knows it. We have now a platform where I will actually show that screen here. You're talking at IGBC. Let me show you how we today believe that we could look at adopting certification in a fairly easy way. Wow, it's taking time. Right. Okay. So today we have figured out a way to automate this. If you enter the project details, saying I have 10-acre piece of land, I want to do 1,000 apartments, I want to be able to, and this is the location, and this is the kind of apartments, etc. We are able to predict this. We're able to now come and say, I think this is possible, and we're automating it, right? And we can automate further. We can also nudge you to how to make it possible, right? So again, we'll talk about our platform. I'll show the platform at the very end. To earlier what we were talking, imagine you tell the builder that I have these goals. I have 90% goal and the cost for that is 1.2 crores. The best thing is we are giving builders not only sustainability goals, but giving business insights. We're telling them that you can spend 37 rupees and you'll get all these goals. Now, I'm not just trying to show the platform. I'm trying to tell you that however you do it, this tangibilizing sustainability is going to be critical when you do a goals-based approach. Uh, now let's go ahead. So some case studies, right? Um, so we show this way. We could show this is the other project, which is this one. So this project, we actually could create. It's Canvas and Co by Assets in Bangalore. We create the we started calling it. Let me show. It's called Canvas and Co. It's about 1,100 apartments, South Bangalore, etc., etc. It's we created the idea of something called carbon healing home. We called carbon healing home. We said that we will maximize water here. 83% was the goal we set, and we said every drop we'll use. So we created the concept of sponge effect, and we said sponsity. These are all marketing terms, right? We create this, we designed for it. Customers like it. Customers willing to spend extra. So if you see, they spend about 60 odd rupees. This is 3 years ago. They spent 60 odd rupees on additional capex, but they could on an average sell at 75 rupees. That means they've seen a top line increase of nearly 30%. So they've directly seen tangible value of sustainability. Of course, the reductions and the value for customer is seeing nearly 30% maintenance savings. Even in this one, right, customer is saving about 30 odd percent of monthly maintenance saving. So this is that project. We actually recommended 83%, and the builder accepted for 79% of the changes. And we actually said that we could do some more, but obviously they didn't want to spend. In terms of energy, we were talking to obviously builder scope. Start talking to them this way, right? Builder scope. What is the occupant scope? So what can we do on the occupant scope? Since this project, we've already moved into hot water done with heat island effect. Sorry, heat island. What am I talking? Uh, heat pump, right? So we're using heat pump. That co-evolve builder on a new project, we've just moved completely to heat pump. There's a builder we worked with, we saw a project in Pune, completely used heat pump. All these are coming in. Heat pumps are nearly 300% more efficient. So builders are looking at spending that little extra, because then the marketing will come in and say you can get a geyser-less apartment. And not just that, right? By doing that, they're having slightly lesser 15 amp plugs. By doing that, you're using lesser copper. So ripple effect of a lot of these solutions is very high. The other thing we have done here is in the occupant scope, we would give these we would give these uh, booklets to tell the buyer that what kind of appliances, what kind of lighting, what kind of fans. Why did we take only 6 kV connected load in spite of it being a 3 BHK in the city? Because we know that if you use all this, you will have a more efficient house. What you would be amazed is if we are creating the whole marketing spiel of how the value of it, people will understand. I think I have slides of it. I'll go there and go back. Yeah. So this is that. So we said carbon healing homes, and numbers were thrown at the builder, at the buyer. It worked. Uh, that's on energy, right? On waste. Normally everybody does only dry and wet. Again, to showcase net zero, we said you should consider all the other kinds of waste. I don't know how many of you are from Bangalore. Bangalore has a law that everything, including sanitary waste, like sanitary pads, diapers, they all have to be collected, separated, and put into paper marked with a red cross. And every other waste has to be segregated and handled. Other cities do not have. I know Hyderabad doesn't have. I know working in Jaipur right now, it doesn't have. But if you do this, we are also you're becoming net zero. B, we are also seeing that for some of the waste, dry, especially if it is handled well, and wet, if it's handled well, um, you can generate money. B, you can use that compost for growing your food, etc. On the community premises. So all these values started coming up. I want to quickly go to embodied carbon. This is a different projects thing. Why embodied carbon? I'm sure all of you know that embodied carbon is going to be the future problem, right? In fact, I always show this slide. I'm using the advantage of video, so I'm showing multiple. So future prediction on operational versus embodied is actually going to be this. Why? Because as you all know, um, the grid is getting more and more efficient. Solar is becoming very cheap. So operational, we should continue to do what we're doing, but operational will become better. It's the embodied which is going to continue to be a big problem. So solving embodied carbon is going to be a huge requirement, and which is why this talking to builders about this will work. Again, builders are beginning to understand. They like it. We are part of at least 3 consortiums across the country who are working on this. Just today morning, we're talking to builder showcasing 50% potential. Benchmarking work has started. We are seeing 434 kgs per square meter of embodied carbon. This project was higher. We break it down like this. Um, but just for 26% reduction, not just for 29 rupees, you can say 26% reduction. In fact, we have seen at 35 rupees, I think close to 37% or 40% reduction possible. And customers are understanding, they're liking. These manufacturers like the PSC Cement, Meta Concrete, Agrocrete, all these guys are coming and saying, we are willing to work with you to talk to your customers as to tell how it is possible. So ultimately, we are saying if you want to approach net zero, here's the overall picture. Can you show data like this? Can you tell us each one and what is the value out of it? And we'll be able to do. And builders are fine with this data to be able to spend money, right? This is one customer. I want to talk a few minutes about the importance of this. This is, Brigade in Bangalore. These guys have actually, we worked with them on Utopia. This is the first project in the country I know which has in its cost sheet, sure you know how they say 11th floor 25 rupees per square, 11th and above 25 rupees per square feet increase, pool facing 20 rupees per square feet, garden facing 30 rupees per square feet. These people have green fee 50 rupees per square feet. So we worked with this developer. They gave us a budget and they said, can you create goals based on this budget? We did that. And then we said we'll communicate. We did so much communication. If you go look up Brigade, Cornerstone, Utopia, Sustainability, you'll find a lot of content on Facebook and other social media venues, right? And on their own website. We did this. So customer was very well informed. And in fact, just last week they started, they've been handing over since the past 1 month, and we've been getting customer feedback, right? It's all sold out. And customer feedback has been mixed. They're very curious. Customers are asking, okay, why did you do dual plumbing? Why are you, one of the thing I want to speak about what we did in this project, we not only segregated uh, black and gray water, the builder was very uncertain about making gray water potable. So while we didn't do that, we told the builder, you got to trust that in 5 years, 6 years, Bangalore will run out of water. Communities will be prepared to converting gray water into potable. And so, while they didn't convert like how Co-Evolve did, the other builder I was speaking about, these people, what they did, they set up space though. So there was a gray water treatment plant. Sorry. And in front of it, we set up space, we set up the piping, everything for the outcome of the water to be RO'd and made potable. So that if ever the community figures they want to do it, they can just turn it on and they use it. So they did such things, and we trained the sales and marketing team to be able to talk these things to the customer. So, sorry. So this is one example. Sorry, I mean I wanted to go to third one, which is this one. Now remember the a la carte we spoke of. This we're very excited. This is where I want to also talk about why it's important, right? Customers are saying, I already know. Uh, I want material. So here today, we started putting. This is India's first sustainable material and solutions marketplace, right? So we have all kinds of material. We have, you can take a look. You can search for a product. These are the various categories we have material in. And why is it important? This is from the embodied carbon, right? You want to be able to select. I'll take wall blocks, my favorite, and one of those fairly high impact areas, right? Um, so you see, we have you can search on the type. You can search on you can say I want porotherm. You can say filter. You can say I want to search on hollow or solid. You can say I want which material. You can search on anything like this. You can pick one of those product. As a practitioner, you need to, right? You're constantly searching for right kind of information. So today we are telling you what is a product. We're telling you what is the price per product. Now, what are the structure engineers and MEP looking? Typically, are looking at these. They're saying, give me density, give me water absorption, all this information, which is great, and we should. Now, some are beginning to ask, is it any certification compliant? Is it IGBC compliant? Is it BRIA compliant? So you have this information. Likes of Lodha, Godrej are beginning to ask us this information. They're saying, tell us the GWP, tell us eutrophication potential. Obviously, this is still a little more scientific, right? Not all builders or practitioners understand these terms. So we are in the process of converting this into English. We are saying search on environmental health, search on human health, search on social health, search on circularity. So we're going to showcase that. But again, the thing I'm trying to say is and then there you go. You can just get contact information and connect with them. For us, the power of this is practitioners should be able to go search for any material they want and start using it before making it part of their project. They can test it, they can check for it. Um, uh, Terry and Mahindra have a lab where you can get more information on that. So we are making it simple and easy for you to go and search and get your products. Uh, this is on the third one. So I'll just go back to that slide. Where is it? So adoption of sustainability ultimately seems to be all these three models. We have seen people ask, and beyond this, there is nothing else, right? I'm not even going to, like I said at the beginning, I don't want to talk about the CSR approach, but that is uh, that doesn't matter. The a la carte, there is a marketplace, the goal setting, I give an example, certification, I showed you how it's possible, and I think people, practitioners here understand the value of it. These things are coming in, and people are beginning to see this kind of value. And they're actually being able to sell. This guy, for example, this co-evolve builder, says that the last 25% of buildings he sold at apartments, he sold at more than 3,000 rupees totally because the market improved. But he claims that 300% of it, 300 rupees of it came purely because of sustainability. Now I'll also show you why, right? Um, uh, star sustainability. You can actually search all this on your own. That's why I was also, yeah, here's the, now look at the amount of detail the builder has created. We worked with them. This is all content we created, right? We created an entire page for these apartments called sustainability page. Now, we speak about circularity, I'll go down. You see, we're giving these numbers. We're publishing these numbers very confidently and smart. I mean, we are putting our neck on the line too, right? Smarter than that. But we're very confident of how this works. We've done years of work, 12.8 million square feet, 56,000 tons of um, 56,000 tons of carbon we mitigated. So we're able to create this kind of content and showcase the builder what's possible, and then customers are seeing it there and they understand why this is important. They're willing to spend. So we are showing all this and we're giving the full cycle of how the water is being used. Customers can come, can see, get an idea of how their product is going to be. How do we do it? We show the whole solutions, what was done. See, very much on top was the efficiency. Just by efficiency, so many liters of water was saved. Excuse me, I'm very sorry. The solution for water treatment, how does it work? We figured that being transparent, showcasing what's done is probably the best way the customer will understand. So EcoStip is a great solution. We use it across the board. The BBAC actually came and studied these guys and created a video of their work. So EcoSTP data we publish. We come as a third party, and all of you as practitioners should do that to be able to showcase this data. Then after this, where energy, yeah. So we convert into English. We say how much water is this, right? Or how many lakhs of rupees you're saving, how many tankers you're buying less. So we talk at this level so that they know what they get out of it, right? We talk about how much energy, how many units are saved because of renewable energy. What is the value out of it? Uh, we talk about how which part of the community is already covered. We spoke about why we use this glass, what is the amount of energy saved because of this glass. And so much so that these Saint Gobain is coming and telling this builder, look, I want to work with you on other projects also. We'll figure out ways. So we showed everything. Some of you already do gearless elevators, but communicate that, right? Communicate to the customer saying this is a value added. So for every one of these things, we created value. We showcased in terms of waste. We said, where is waste? Yeah, we spoke about the various things on waste, what's possible, how many tons, what's been converted, what is the value out of it. We convert so many tons of carbon saved is so many cars off the road. Uh, so you get the idea. I mean, I can keep talking about this. I'll go back to the area I want to use. Ultimately, I want to say this. It's not CSR. You need to set sustainability goals. You need to look at a measure, manage, mitigate approach, and you need to look at embodied carbon. It's not just operational carbon. Um, we have set up ourselves on this goal. We want to mitigate 1 billion tons. It's a massive goal, but we think it's possible. But all of us, that's why I love the AEEE WRA consortium where all of us work together. It's not one of us. This is a goal which all of us have to do, and we want to work with you to make it possible. All right, I'm going to stop now. As you can see, I've been coughing a little. I can share a screen if you want. I can explain. I want to see if I can answer questions and make it a dialogue. If that makes sense. As you can see, I can show other slides and talk more. But I thought I'll stop and open into a dialogue. Does it make sense? Are you okay with that? Hello? Soumya?
Hello. Yes, yes. I was just speaking. There was issue with the camera. So if
No,
I joined in from the mobile, but that also I think was.
no
So if
worries.
anyone has any questions and that they'd like to ask, you can turn on your camera, ask
Okay.
Sriram whatever you'd like about the presentation or whatever you want to ask about. So anyone?
Yeah, looks like Deepa raised a hand.
Yeah, Deepa,
Go ahead, Deepa.
continue.
Can you also
Sure.
just introduce who you are, Deepa? It'll be easy.
Yes, sure. Yeah, my name is Deepa. I'm a green building consultant. Great presentation, Sriram. Lots of uh, not just data, but also great way of communicating the value prop
Right.
to the
Thank you. Yeah.
builders and the consumers both.
Right. Right.
So I
Right.
was curious to know. I was actually very thrilled to see how builders are actually selling their unit at a higher sale price because of the green feature.
Right.
To me, that was really some new information. And you
Right.
showed data. I mean, generally, I've heard loose talks around it. So I wanted to ask, yeah, in your experience of working with uh, the builders, of course, you've been working for a long time, but if you rewind and go back to the initial first couple of projects, how did the builder, uh, you know, in spite of creating value in terms of, okay, so much water savings, energy savings, and all of that, how are they able to sell that at a higher cost? Do they, is it more like a, let me see what happens, or they just bought everything you said and they said, okay, let me pitch this at 1.x of the cost. How did that happen?
Deepa, great question. Um, so it is not. It has not been that easy. You're absolutely right. What we've noticed that even if you go back a few years, uh, the language we've used for the longest time was the bottom line first. Only bottom line. We're saying you'll save. We also spoke about to save. Sustainability is important and all that. But what we've noticed is when we started talking, builders were they were data speaks. So one thing they've concluded is, and one builder openly told me this. He said, Sriram, even if I assume only 20% of, I mean, that 20% of your numbers are wrong, that is okay because I'm actually going to speak numbers. One of the builder actually said this exact words. He said, the moment I speak numbers, they will think these guys know something, Sriram. Builder customers will value the fact that we speak numbers. One thing I always tell builders is don't assume the customer is unintelligent. And so the builders are realizing this. They're realizing that customers are intelligent. We need to just be able to tell. The success stories we've seen initially have been in Bangalore. One I don't know, Deepa, where you're from, but Bangalore we've noticed is the customer is also mature, and so builder is also being able to try. They what I tell builders is, look, if you're able to sell 1 point something, that's a bonus. If you're spending $50 and you're getting that $50 back, that should be enough. Because with your other 2,500 odd rupees you're spending, you'll anyway make your money. So that language, the fact that customers will understand, and we were part of initial days, and even now, Smartism gives one particular service called marketing content, like that carbon healing home idea. So we at times talk to their customers. So builders saw us. They liked the fact that we were first and willing to interact with their buyers, and that empowered them that okay, a Smartism is willing to do, and b there is a way. That means customers are willing to listen, and there's opportunity to grasp. So it took a long time, but us willing to talk to the buyer was one key differentiator. Second, just make it as is, and then let's see how it goes. This kind of approach, builders would also they realize that we are upfront and telling them we got to figure out how it goes, and so they many of these builders have actually given us repeat business. Brigade, we're doing a third project. Koival, we're starting a fourth project. All these guys realize that project to project they started seeing value, and it's a misnomer that they feel once one product we do, we know what to get, right? I'm sure all of you here understand that. So they also realize that we need this. There's customization, and so they are understanding. But it's a learning for them, Deepa. And last answer I'll make, I'll say also is we take a approach which is slightly different. We go tell this is not a matter of this building or this project. This is a matter of your company. And so we work with the leadership there. I myself, my role actually starts with what is the vision? Wow, this project you're doing, but how do we turn around, make sustainability core to your company? So that makes them realize that all of them are continuing to construct anyway. That cycle, that approach help them adopt it stronger. I hope you answer your question. I gave a long answer.
Yes, yes, yes. Some really good points there, Sriram, that you shared. That when you talk to customers, I mean, they get to see. I think they
Yeah.
probably learned how to talk also.
Yeah.
And like you said, don't assume that customers are not intelligent.
Yeah.
I think
Very important thing.
everybody knows cost, that they can know the other things too, probably.
Yeah. And they relate to things like how many tankers of water you save, right? Such
Hmm.
things if you talk in that language. The builders are buyers are very smart. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Yeah. I think I saw somebody's message. Uh, Abhishek, is there is any project in North India location? What shall be charges from your end? Ah, sure, Abhishek. We're actually doing a project in Jaipur. We did earlier in Delhi, one existing building. Also. I'm happy to talk to you. I mean, there's no straight price on charges, right? It goes project to project. We need to understand a little more before I can. But you can my put my email ID. That helps. Please reach out to me. Happy to help you. Uh, Somebody in my team can talk about it. We can figure out.
Hello, this is Bhaskar Natarajan. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
Go
hi.
ahead. Hi.
Uh, Two questions. First is in all your assistance, guidance, etc. How much is the passive design anything that is advised for incorporation in all these residential projects to ensure that this would lead to reduction in operational energy? First. Second is a great things that you are doing with so many clients. Is there somewhere that this information is shared with key stakeholders apart from these webinars or something, which even if you want to not name the builder or someone, that is fine, but the fact that you're doing it, the value proposition, I think it will be good to put it somewhere and have this regularly circulated to stakeholders from time to time. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Bharat. So, Bharat, right? Yeah. So to answer your first question, definitely what we've noticed is passive designs come more. Uh, uh, they're adopting more easier in commercial, funnily, rather than residential. But one of the lowest hanging fruit, which somehow it's just a little, which is coming back, we are able to pursue is shading devices, right? So we're able to get that out. We're able to really stress it to the point where some projects in our own interest, we would tell these builders, basic simulation, we'll do it. Don't pay us extra. We'll take care. We'll show you the value of it and we'll charge you, right? So the moment we do simulation, they understand the value of passive design. Uh, so they are there. Definitely, we are able to do. Second is the good thing. The one good thing of certifications, I would say, is certainly in the beginning to ask certain standards, like for example, RETV or such things are coming in, right? So people are beginning to understand that some passive approaches will save money, and we should do. Amazingly, commercial we are doing. So in Surat, we're doing a commercial project where the builder was very keen on some of the passive ideas we showcased. To answer your second question, absolutely, I totally agree. We should. So Smartism is part of a bunch of consortiums. This is a great consortium. Koival, the builder I showed you earlier, we recently brought him onto the charter, and every one of this information with the right kind of guardrails of putting it out, we are publishing. So there's another charter we're part of called Build Ahead, where we're working with Ultratech, JSW, Saint Gobain, and a couple of builders are there, but a lot of practitioners are there, where we're saying, can we start benchmarking? Like, what is the right 135 LPCD is the only real benchmark we have. Even that, as you all know, we are consuming much higher, right? EPI for commercial is common, residential is not. So that benchmarking drive is making all of us look at publishing this information. We are you will soon see into next year, and I'm sure Soumya will add more if you want. But through this initiative itself, and through at least three other initiatives I'm part of, two other initiatives we are part of, these three we are looking at publishing. Please look out. We are going to do these sessions and also publish articles, white papers. Just last week, just to let you know, on December 3rd or 2nd in IM Bangalore, Credai, all the way from Boman Irani, the president of Credai came in. Credai, IM Bangalore and Smartism did a whole day session where we showcased a lot of this to builders saying, this is possible, this is the information, what do you need to make it happen? We're happy to empower you. So we're beginning to do a lot of these. So again, reach out. There are enough people in this network who are willing to share this information. We want all of you to do this, right? Otherwise, we won't meet the 2040 goals or 2070 goals of India. Thanks for the question. Uh, um, any other question?
Anyone else with a question?
Sorry, I'm coughing. But as long
So you can raise your hands or put it in the chat box or speak, whatever you like.
So while people are looking for questions, I can share other things. One of the
Sriram, you're losing your voice a little bit.
okay. Hello, is this better?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah. In the spirit of sustainability, I've still not changed my laptop, which is 9 years old. So it's ready to die. It's been telling me I need to change. Anyway, so yeah, I was just saying that one of the other things we have begun to notice is uh, again between SBI, HDFC, and IIFL, three people we are ourselves working with. They are actually giving 0.5, 0.5, and 0.25 base points reduction on home loan rate for the buyer. They're anyway giving incentives for the builder if the builder says is he or she is doing the IGBC gold, platinum, whatever, right? Some goals. SBI is very stringent. It's asking RETV value 10 or below, then they're giving more than 0.5% discount. So the investor and the financiers and as a stakeholder in this ecosystem are now beginning to step up, and we'll see that a lot into 24-25, which will hopefully accelerate too. Mukesh, and I also see Deepa. Mukesh, you want to go ahead?
Yes, sir. I'm PhD scholar from BITS Pilani, sir.
Super.
So, sir, I would like to ask: is there like any comparison baseline? So, if I'm a layman and I would like to like build a building, then is there any example set for like I'm in composite climate, and so you can say that if you make this building as people going on with like a trend, and if you go for this like sustainable kind of thing, or this is like for with the new codes or with standards. So is there any baseline you suggest to customer?
So even if it's easier in Hindi, I would also be happy. So the baseline, matlab, baseline from a impact perspective to hai. Are you talking from that for the builder buyer, or are you asking builders are interested in baseline? Builders are not yet interested in baseline. They are more looking at it from value. But by second, third project, we start telling them that you have to improve from your previous project. Otherwise, you can't have a brand improvement. This is what we tell them. Does it make sense, Mukesh?
Actually, sir, I would like to ask that if I I am customer and or consumer, just I want to make a building, and then that time you will be like able to tell me that this, if you go for this is one example and this is another example. So this much is the energy or operational energy difference.
Acha, so for an individual house, matlab, if I have a small piece of land, if I'm building a house for myself, is that information available to say for this climate zone, if you do this, this is the value? Is that what you're asking? So for
Exactly, sir.
yeah, right. So same thing, Mukesh. What's happening is for individual houses, it's funny. We are doing a study right now. We are noticing that also by and large, India mein abhi bhi there are more individual houses than apartments. But the growth pattern is towards apartments. Hence, we are looking at that. In fact, we did a study right now, and we've noticed that the maximum embodied carbon impact can actually be made um, through how do you say more from material and for individual houses rather than for apartments, simply because you can build a one floor, two floor house with zero cement, right? And we have done one small house in Wayanad, so we understand this. Customers giving that benchmark information has to be built in that platform I showed you. We intend to put that. We just deprioritized individual houses for now. We want to pick it up mid next year, but it is needed. I actually think for individual houses, architect has a higher responsibility and a say. and so if you're able to empower the architects there, it will work. It's not yet there, Mukesh, but that data to build that benchmark is happening right now as we speak. Work on that benchmark is happening.
Thank you.
It's just that it's lower priority. That's all. Deepa, I saw you also raised hand. Did you have anything else?
Yeah, I actually had some other question, but now that you've answered the previous question,
Right.
I thought I have a different question now. The examples you've shared with Brigade and some other builders, they're very big. They operate at a different scale, and the projects are multi-story, high-rise.
Right.
And like you said, there are single family homes outnumber the flat.
Right. Right.
apartment style buildings.
Right.
Um, and I noted that you mentioned material impact is much bigger in smaller buildings rather
Right.
than multi-story apartment
Right.
complex. I was in a like tier two, tier three cities talking to builders, and we were wondering what could be the low-hanging fruit for them, whereas decarbonization is all too far-fetched for them to
Right. 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 Absolutely.
digest and make sense of it. So uh, so some of the low-hanging fruits like passive strategy. You also showed numbers for the same thing like water, energy, waste
Right.
as well. So my two questions are, one is the dashboard that you showed. Is it like accessible to anybody with a login and they access it, or how is that? That's one. I think there are a lot of simple things that one could gather for builders operating in smaller towns. And secondly, if you were to talk to them, what would your value prop be to them in order to get started
Right.
on their path to sustainability? Because net zero at an organization level, I feel it fairly easy for them looking at the scale of work that they do.
Right.
Um, yeah, what would you kind of like the two things you would tell them to get started
Yeah.
with?
Yeah. You know what is interesting though? I'm glad you asked that question. Right. So, it's actually a little counter, as in actually for bigger players, right? It's tougher in the sense of the sheer amount of effort involved. Because Brigade at any point of time will have 6 projects going on, and it'll have 2 commercial and across 3 cities. So whereas Co-evolve has at any point of time couple of projects at best happening, right? So smaller builders focus can be more, they can be more focused. Smaller builders also decision makers are themselves, whereas bigger builders like Brigade, Godrej, Lodha, they have layers and layers. So what we notice is for them it's tougher, but you're right, once they set that goal they can do bits and pieces. They'll never do as much as a co-evolve does. Brigade might not do, but Brigade will do in short bits in a bunch of projects. But to the tier 2, tier 3 cities, right? I don't think we can talk top line. In fact, I don't think we can even talk to them about decarbonization. You're absolutely right, right?
Okay.
We should talk bottom line, yeah?
Yeah.
Because the thing with the value of the bottom line is something so high, and all the tier 2, tier 3 cities are going to have more resource challenges than tier 1 cities. Just in Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, I mean, Telangana, now I have some data, but we have seen across board. I'm sure you know the same too. The tier 2, tier 3 cities will always have a resource paucity than tier 1 cities. So for them, it is a no-brainer to just talk the bottom line. And embodied carbon will only come from if and when we are able to showcase the value from um, the material at the same price. I don't foresee tier 2, tier 3 cities willing to spend extra money for embodied carbon reduction. They won't. They just won't see value, right? But if you talk to them about savings as a step one, and maybe by the second or third project we start talking about embodied carbon, it'll happen. However, that is tier 2, tier 3 cities, small builders. I think the language and the approach for each of these guys will change. For a tier 2, tier 3, or tier 1 city individual house, I think that's the best case scenario to make huge impact because the architects have a huge say. Architects understand it. I actually believe architects are very capable. They just don't do because they just don't. Many times they think it's not needed. But I think if you empower the architect, they can just convince a builder saying, a homeowner saying, look, you don't need this concrete block. I'll actually move you to a porothum brick and build around the same time, and you'll have higher passive. I mean, you'll have a much better livability and cost of living and happiness. That an individual tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities, architects we have to talk to. But small time builders in tier 2, tier 3 cities, only cost reduction and access to resources. We spoke to, I mean, Surat is not a small town, but when we did something we're doing in Surat, uh, we'll realize we talk a lot of that. We're right now doing a project in Kochi, in Kerala, right? Um, we spoke a lot about efficiency, But in the same discussion over a period of time, the builder understood, and she was very conscious. She said, "Look, you know what? You've been telling me all this anyway, and I keep throwing in the importance of embodied. It's a small 10 apartment community, but upscale community. I told her, look, it's only 10 apartments. You can do a huge impact on embodied carbon. So she agreed. So we're doing some incredible work on embodied carbon also. To answer your first question, yeah, platform is Deepa. We're beginning to open to folks. Do again reach out SD plus smarternumber.com if you go contact, or you can reach out my number and somebody in our team will work with you, create a login and test, and then there is a down the line we have a license approach. You will get to that, but happy to empower, give you test access and all.
Great. Thanks, Sriram.
Sure, sure. I think Sonal raised hand if I'm not.
Yeah, Sonal is there.
Yeah. Hi, Sriram. I hope I am audible.
Yeah.
I'm Sonal. I'm working with Council on Energy, Environment and Water. And I also have a similar question. So first, congratulations to you for your great work. So yeah, so my question is like uh, this ESG and all these things. So these are so particularly the large builders. So they are much more aware about it, and nowadays they are taking initiatives to adopt these practices. But and you also talk about the role of communication. So but there is a large part of construction industry which basically happens out of the space of these large organized builders, and particularly in tier 2 tier 3 cities or smaller towns. So basically how to upscale these practices and initiatives among that part of the construction industry. So how we should communicate with them, or because these large builders, they are more technically sound, so they can understand the complexities of all these technical terms. So in a simpler technical language, how we should communicate, and also the analyzing the cost benefit analysis of all these assessments. So because their practices are also dependent upon local commonly available materials, and also uh, uh, basically doing an assessment of what impact those materials will bring into the building carbon footprint. And an associated question is, while the operational energy helps in reducing the energy consumption of a building, and it brings some cost benefits also, but embodied carbon, so although it reduces your carbon footprint, but in terms of monetary benefits, how it is bringing any monetary benefit in apart from basically having impact in your ESG reporting and all. So yes, so basically mainly taking it to a larger construction industry base into smaller towns and cities.
Yeah. Yeah, Sonal, thanks. Kind of what Deepa was also asking, right? Tier 2, tier
Yes,
3
yes.
cities. That same thing, right? So we are noticing that we have to, you're right, they won't have these goals, nor will they understand embodied carbon. We'll have to go into it with the operational savings. But the thing you should look at, right? This is just based on this Kochi project experience I've understood is one thing the tier 3 cities have, and we should really figure out a way to latch on, all of us as practitioners, is that the decision maker is then and there. You are actually sitting with the decision maker. There are no layers like, for example, brigade will have there are like 7 8 layers and 7 8 people coming in different mindset and different maturity. So by the time we make a decision, so much more concrete has already been poured. Whereas smaller builders, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, the decision maker is sitting and giving you their full attention. That then it's just a matter of how we communicate, right? I've realized that, and which brings me to the second point, right? Even the tier 2, tier 3 cities, builders understand operational. They don't understand terms like operational embodied carbon, or you can't talk to them about sustainability, India's 2040 goal. All that stuff might not work. But one thing which will work for them is, and we did a focus group discussion over a period of time. Because everybody, even if it is fragmented, they understand that climate change is happening. I think one thing I've understood is when we tell even smaller players that your industry has a huge impact, right? We say, and then when they say, okay, what? We show and we say, imagine for 50 rupees, I'll make you mitigate most of your impact of your building. The moment we talk that language, like that slide which I showed, right, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh, that was very powerful. This we many times use and tell that. In fact, one very good builder in Hyderabad, when we spoke to him about goals and all, he said, Sriram, all that is fine. You know what? Why don't you just give me? Why don't you just take this? Here's 70 bucks. You take this 70 rupees and you just tell me what is possible. This slide. I hope you can see, right? So this language saying, because no builder will say, I don't have money. It's about saying, what will you get for that money? You say that I'll make you spend 50 rupees, 70 rupees, 80 rupees, and you'll get this value. It's astonishing how often you'll see that they're fine with it. So that was one big learning for us. But it's a learning thing, yeah, Sonal. One thing I can tell you is it's not overnight. Just reiterating what I told Deep also is I think uh, architects play a key role. We need to really bring architects in and make it almost like their value add. They get power out of yes. Kind of empowering architect as a language. I hope I answered it.
Yes, yes, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else? So if not, then I think it's time to end up the session. I would like to thank Sriram for joining us today. And it was a great presentation. One of the few things that I loved was how you've converted each of the things that you're giving in into actual outputs. You can save this much, you can do this. This is something that is not seen very much. लोग ये कहते हैं हमेशा कि what will we get out of it? Here we can see actual numbers. Ki this many tons can be saved. This much water can be saved. So this is a great. Also the repository that you have made. It's amazing work, Shriram. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Shriram, for giving us your time and your expertise. And we look forward to all of you participating in the upcoming webinars. Tomorrow we'll have one on ESCO and MAVs in the commercial sector that will be taken up by Mr. Oh, Acha, Shriram, you are the one who's raising the hand.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can
Finish. Then I wanted to say something.
Sure. So tomorrow we'll have a webinar on ESCO and MEVs in the commercial sector. It will be taken up by Mrinal Bhaskar, who's a consultant with us at AEEE. So we look forward to all of you joining us there also. And Shriram, would you like to conclude?
Yeah. I just want to conclude with one thing. Uh, I'm glad there was questions about sharing this information and also what can we do, how can we do. So Soumya, I think I wanted to reiterate that how between AEEE, WRI, Smartism, and a lot of other entities are actually definitely publishing. So feel free to reach out to any of us. All of us are
Sure.
and become members of the charter. So all of you, if you come on.
Yeah, so I was actually coming to that. So I'm putting an email ID here in the chat box. It's called dbusinesscharter@gmail.com. If you have any questions about any of the sessions you have attended, if you want to talk to anyone, or if you're new to this whole space and you want to join us as signatories, so this is a really great sort of flow learning is happening. You'll get to know a lot of people. You'll get to know a lot of new things that are coming up as we sort of what Sriram has done. So all of us, all of you, you can go to this email ID and you can mail us and we'll be very much happy to get you on board. So thank you from the DBC, Decarbonization Business Starter, and looking forward to seeing all of you in the upcoming webinars and the workshops that we're planning. And so we'll start planning and publishing things so that also you should keep a lookout for. So thank you everyone. Now I'll end the meeting. Thank you for joining. Bye bye, Sriram. Thank you. Bye everyone. My camera is not working today somehow. So that is why I could not show. I tried joining in from the phone, but it
That's
also
okay.
did not work out. So
Oh,
that is one thing I encourage people to show their faces. And today I could not. So sorry for that.
no worries.
But
I hope
see,
my
I,
cough wasn't much of an issue.
no, it
Sorry, I
was
just
not at all. Not at all. It was a great
thank you.
presentation. Take it. Thank
I
you. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.